You know, I thought it was going to take 15 seconds, maybe it really takes 20. And then you have a higher accuracy, so when you start designing your processes downstream again, you start getting better time estimates, which allows you to do a lot more accurate planning. Okay. And then once you've created your header operation, you want to start creating your steps. And so different steps have different characteristics. Here we're doing a load operation. You can do load, unload, just a general operation. And then there's some specific like point fastening if you want to do that. When you create it, again, you'll have the ability to define how long is this going to take. And just keep track of what your operations are doing. And here we're doing the installation of the tombstone. So it's the very, I guess not the very last step, but it's the last main step before we put the assembly onto the machine. So let this run through. And then once you've created your operations, you want to assign your parts, right? So being able to get that cross-highlighting. I swear I can use a clicker. Okay. And once you've created your steps, you then want to create your implement links. There's two options for this. You can drag and drop onto your operation, or you can use the relations management. So you're basically saying, here's where I'm consuming different parts. And then once you have your steps, you can create work instructions. So this can be standard text. You can create alerts saying, hey, you know, be careful about this or that. And you can add standard text. Again, you can create templates for all this. So you start automating some of the process of creating your plans. And then you can also create data collect plans. So you can ask your operators to say, you know, when I've done this, please check to make sure these values are correct. And two options for that, you can just create one data collect plan, which is going to ask for a single measurement, or you can do a checklist. So as they're going through this, they need to verify that what they've done matches what the specifications are. And you can change the options for your values. And again, adding standard text, templatizing, standardizing your processes. Okay. And then this can be done, I guess these two steps, this one and the previous one, can be done out of order. So once you have your operations set, you can create your process flow. Okay. So there's two options for this. You can have it created automatically, or you can assign your own flows. Right? So if I want it to just happen in the order of my tree, great. If I don't, then I want to be able to assign those, right? And so sometimes you have parallel operations or multiple operations feeding into other operations. And it's pretty easy. You just drag and drop. Actually, you don't even have to do that, but visually it's easier to see. And then you connect your dots. So what assemblies are going into which other assemblies, and you do that through the full process. And then you have a view of where is everything going from a high level. So create the work plan. You link your manufacturing assemblies. You can create your text instructions and then your flow. And then what happens when you make your design changes, right? What does that look like? How do you update your process engineering data. And since everything's on the 3D Experience platform, it's not too bad. So again, we're back in SOLIDWORKS. Here we're in connected. You could also use SOLIDWORKS desktop with the connector. I'm not actually going to make any design changes. I am not a design engineer, but if you've created revisions, so as you're working, you say, okay, I've created a revision, you make a note of what you changed, and then you save your data to the 3D Experience platform. So you'll see that revision went to revision B. You update, you lock your assembly. I guess I do it in the wrong order. You should probably lock before you start making modifications. And then it updates. So then it goes into the platform, into your database, and it'll automatically update. And then you need to update your process engineering data. So we'll be back in the manufactured items management and the process management apps. For your MBOM, you just do the change impact management, so you see what's changed since the last time you did this. And we see that we created a new revision. And so I can replace that with the latest revision if I need to. So once that's done, you get some confirmation messages, and you'll see that your MBOM was updated. So making sure that you have the latest and greatest, which allows you to also, again, be designing your manufacturing processes before your design is done. So compressing that timeline of how fast do I get to outputting my product. And then very similar to your process plan. So it does check, since it was just a design revision, it's not going to update anything because we didn't actually update the MBOM, right? We just replaced the revision. So in your visualization, it would update, but we didn't delete any sub-assemblies. We didn't change how our MBOM is structured. And so our process plan doesn't need to be updated. Okay, so update both of them using your change impact management. You're able to see what's changed and see those modifications go through. All right, so what did we see? We started in SOLIDWORKS, saved to the 3D Experience platform, used the engineering data to create our manufacturing bill of materials, or MBOM. Then we created the process plan, and from there we made modifications, and then we updated our plan. All in the same data set. We weren't exporting anything, and you're using the same references. And just a summary of those benefits again, it is a web-based interface using the same data model. You're accelerating your process, so you can start your planning early, which allows you to check for errors and make modifications. And then you can leverage that across applications. So this is the first step into using your engineering data downstream into your other manufacturing applications. All right. Thank you, guys. I am sorry, this was a little bit of a struggle this morning. Do you guys have any questions?
I've got a bunch.
Okay.
The first one is, does it have any integrations with ERP? So
Not.
Stock parts specifically is what I had in mind.
Can you clarify what you're wanting?
Do I have some of these parts in stock, or do I need to manufacture them?
It doesn't currently. With the acquisition of DELMIA Works, which used to be IEQMS, they are working on that. But right now, this is kind of a knowledge thing, so you can feed that into it. But there is a little bit of a manual process for that.
Next one, when you transform the EBOM to the MBOM, you typically follow a set of rules. Is there any way to automate that so that we can build those rules
They're working on it. That's part of the easy button release. So right now it's just very manual. You can create templates. So you can create your MBOM structure without linking it to your engineering data, and then link that a little bit. It's just, again, right now a little bit manual.
And one of the things I noticed is that you're kind of structuring it into assemblies, but what if you have the same part in multiple assemblies? Is it going to facilitate building those parts together?
Yeah, you can do the instantiation. So for this, we do that so that when the operators, we just opened up a facility in Idaho, and so we have to communicate across both, and we want to be able to do a very step-by-step process to make sure everything's accounted for. If you're just saying manufacture, this subassembly 5 times, you can structure that in as well. Or if you've created instantiations, so you've structured your engineering data to say, this subassembly consumes this part, but there's 3 of them. If you link it once, it will automatically update all. That was a really terrible way of answering.
What I'm looking for is the parts in different assemblies. So when we actually make this, we're going to build that part 3 times, put them on a shelf, and then consume them as we build each of those sub-assemblies.
So you're wanting to kind of do that in different steps, right? So you'll create your sub-assemblies, and then later on in the process, is it immediate, or do you just want to know that you've had it?
It's how we're going to design that process. So the first step is manufacturing all of those parts.
Okay.
And then the second and maybe third steps are consuming those parts and putting them in sub-assemblies. So
yeah, so you can
separating out fabrication versus assembly.
You can do both. This is just assembly. There's the ability to have fabrication planning. So it wasn't shown in this video, but you can actually define, you need to do a machining process now. And that's one of those operations, instead of doing like a load or unload or general operation, it's a machining button. I can't remember what it's called.
And when you do those, are they associated with the model? So if you copied that model, it would
Yeah.
make a change to it, it would go with it?
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. Other questions? Yes.
How does it deal with, say, you're outsourcing a part of the assembly to a different manufacturer?
So there's an option in there, an attribute that you can basically specify if you're making or buying, right? So where am I taking this in from?
So is that data stored like from the engineering side of things, or like is it within the manufacturing form where you decide, oh, this is going to be bought, this is going to be made?
I've only done it within the process engineering, so the manufacturing BOM, but I think you can feed the engineering attributes. I'd have to check on that. I just, specifically with SOLIDWORKS, I'm a little shakier on. It's not my forte, so. Yep. All right, other questions? Perfect. Well, if you have questions, I can be reached at my email. I'm happy to get answers to questions that I can't answer off the top of my head, or talk about some of that. All right, thank you guys.